just did, and call our meeting to order. Leslie, can you roll call, please?
Commissioner Edelman?
Here.
Commissioner Stanfield?
Here.
Commissioner Dane?
Here.
Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Commissioner McNary?
Here.
Commissioner Hay?
Here.
Mayor Johnston?
Here. Thank you. All right, tonight we have our invocation presented by the lovely Pastor Nicole Smith. Please rise and join us in prayer.
Good evening again, everyone, and as always, thank you for the privilege to just get to come and be with you all and pray with you all, and I'll invite you to join in as you are comfortable. Holy and gracious God, you have raised up leaders in all times and places to guide and set a good example for all the people whom they are called to serve. Help them to be just and true in their dealings, to be conscientious in the discharge of every duty, pure and temperate, and gracious in their interactions and courteous towards all. Wherever we encounter fear, cast it out and give us courage. Wherever we encounter hatred, cast it out and grant us love, so that the mind of Jesus Christ may be formed in us, and all may know that we are in service to his name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I'll get right into the good stuff. We have a planning commission annual report that the amazing John Mabee will present for us.
You want a podium presentation?
Whatever you're comfortable with, John. And you might want to use your, whatever you want to do, your choice.
Yeah, I don't have any slides or
Okay.
anything, but, so, I'll keep this short. So, no, actually, most of you got the skinny on the planning commission if you participated in the joint commission meeting or joint board meeting late last year. The report's a little bit overdue. I apologize for that. Usually we try to get it out in January or February at the latest, so here we are in early March. Not as many applications this past year compared to previous years, but that turned out to be a big blessing because the planning commission worked hard on the master plan pretty much all year long. In pretty much every meeting we were doing different updates and that sort of thing to the master plan which you approved or adopted in early January. Some of the other things regarding that aren't really mentioned in the report is you've probably heard about some housing bills coming up from the state that affect zoning for the sake of housing in particular, but there's a whole package of different housing bills. And while some of those are still pending, they did make some changes to the Zoning Enabling Act in 2025 that affected how you do master plans. And I was like, oh great, we're right in the middle of master plan development. But as it turned out, we were already on par with keeping up with contacting neighboring jurisdictions and working to make sure that our future land use map is consistent with the county in general. So that was a good thing. And then the upcoming zoning restrictions, whether you agree with them or not from the state, like in particular Housing Bill 5530, the infill housing ordinance amendment that you did for low density, I think that was last month, just shows you that even though it's not exactly what the state had in mind, it did create more housing opportunities for the city. We've gotten some initial interest for two or three different lots, so that's a good thing. So I think it just kind of shows you that how progressive the planning commission is moving forward on those types of things. And if you have any questions, I give you the hard copy there in front of you. The last thing I'll say is that yes, the planning commission board does have a number of vacant seats. Part of that is because when it was originally chartered, it called for 9 planning commission members. So without doing something drastic, I mean, I'm not opposed to having that many, except for the physical limitations on the number of seats up here that they use on Monday nights. But we're generally fine. We do pretty well with 5 to 7, and we might get one more tonight. So appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate it. This is a fabulous report. I believe all or much of it is available in the agenda packet, and I'm really grateful. Thank you so much. All right. Are there any questions for John? Nope. Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve our minutes from our last meeting? All right. Any discussion? Nope. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thanks, everybody. We don't have any public hearings tonight, so we'll move on to general comments. This is the public's chance to come up for 5 minutes and speak on anything that is not already on the agenda. So come on up. Or Leslie's gonna help out too. Excellent. Sure.
Thank you. My name is Shirley Olson, and I'm a resident in the 4th District. And where I'm working, or where I'm helping at is on the board there. And we have a concern, and it has to do a lot with my heart, with the welfare of the community rather than of a particular individual situation and how it's impacting the community where I live. And we have, from what I understand, the situation has been ongoing for a while. I'm newer to it, so where conditions have happened with an individual that we really need to help. And some of it are safety and health issues that are not only impacting the individual, but those around in the community. And we are a community of homeowners within a multi-family dwelling. We want to preserve the dignity of the individual, but we need help and resources. And we have contacted several areas within the city and in the past, and I will be contacting people tomorrow.
Okay.
But it is a concern because it impacts neighbors, communities, and that's the sort of help I need to make sure we've got a process in place, what we can do for that,
Okay.
how the city can help us in this situation.
Okay, can you give us a little context? You can still keep the person anonymous, but can you tell us a little bit? Is it a property issue, a health issue?
It's a property issue. There has been damage in the past. There has been significant amount of purchases brought in and not, which has led to safety issues of falling and blocked fire. So there's
Okay.
So there's different things with that, but there's also the smells that are impacting neighbors.
Okay.
And so we want to make sure we do it with dignity.
Certainly.
We want to do it, my heart is not to,
Not to be unkind. Would that be fair to say? Okay. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Obviously, we don't really have enough information to move forward yet, but if you would like, I actually just dropped them on the floor, so give me just a moment. I will write down my phone number for you. If you'd like to give me a call, I'd be happy to help and forward any information to the proper people. Does that sound okay? As soon as I finally bite the bullet and get my website done, I'm gonna have cards made, but right now I'm writing on index cards, so please forgive me. All right, just a minute. Thank you so much. That's what you're supposed to do.
Good evening, what a nice turnout.
Good evening.
Appreciate the invitation, that was nice.
And I'm so sorry, I forgot to say before to please state your name and address for the record, but thank goodness we already did.
Dwight Lewis at 500 East Cushman Street. Going right along that train of thought, I recently got a notice from the code enforcement officer, and maybe some others have. I had a number of things, it's that time of year to clean things up, and I was gonna get ready to do it anyway when the weather got better, but I hadn't, and he came up with some serious thoughts about some things that I needed to do, and I knew that anyway. And so, he gave me a notice, and he gave my neighbors notices too. One lady had some old tires and rims backed up by her garage. And it wasn't something they were throwing all over the thing. I had a tire laying out in my yard that I hadn't picked up. She was talking about it, and she was livid over getting this notice about these tires and wheels. And I said, all we're doing is trying to clean up the neighborhood. My son's real fussy. And he said something about driving through some of these neighborhoods, and I'm on Cushman and Portage and Hoffman and that whole area, which is a pretty nice area of town. But if you start driving around, not necessarily just this time of year, but the neighborhoods get pretty junky. My son said, I don't even want to drive through those neighborhoods anymore. And I drove through them sort of after. I know that's not that bad. I didn't notice it being anything. But my thought with my neighbor said about her tires and wheels, I said, well, it doesn't do any good to complain to me. I'm just your neighbor. But I said, we have commission meetings every first and second Tuesday of every month. I said, go to the commission meeting, you got 5 minutes to sit up here and give their piece. My suggestion would be for the code officer to not only give you a letter about what he's saying, but how you can voice your opinion and maybe have a notice on there concerning the commission meetings. Then, you know, if you got some concerns or you want to say your piece, come out and join the group like this. So, I was pleased that he did that. I'm pleased that that's getting done in my neighborhood. I've been in the neighborhood a long time. I'm no too many know that I have quite a yard art display that I do every now and then, make my neighborhood cool. But that's my suggestion, is that everybody pay attention to the codes and clean it up. I have an old truck that he tagged.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Would you mind turning around?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. The tagged one of my trucks, and it's actually a legal truck. It just had been sitting all winter. So yeah, I just am thankful for the codes and the officers and the whole department. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwight. I appreciate it. Mr. Allen, did you want to respond? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to get his attention. Thank you, sir. All right. Next up. Anybody else for comments about things not on the agenda tonight? All right. I don't see anybody, so I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. All right, and we'll move on to business. Pull this up. We made some adjustments to our agenda tonight, so my numbers might be a little off. All right. Okay, so we're in number 10, business, and we're going to discuss an MDNR passport grant application for Albert Foster Park. It looks like Amy has come to the hot seat to give us some more information.
So we're looking at doing some improvements at Albert Foster Park, and might as well take advantage of grant opportunities to help us pay for those improvements. Looking at a paved parking lot, a playground area, adding picnic tables and grills. There's a future plan for, oh, and I forgot the playground set, or I said it, sorry. Been a long day.
Yes,
Looking at a future plan for a pavilion as a,
oh,
like a
nice.
later phase.
Okay.
Doesn't fit within this grant application, but trying to plan our space for that as well. So
Wonderful.
we need commission to pass this resolution to have it submitted on or before April 1st to apply, and then we hear preliminary scoring around August, we hear final scoring
Wow.
October, November, so it's a lengthy process.
Okay, so it'll be like a next year project then, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if we see a grant award, you will see us come back to ask for allocation out of fund balance for fiscal year 27. But it just doesn't make sense to put that in the budget now when we don't know whether or not it's awarded.
And this grant, I really like the numbers on it. The application is for $200,000 and our match is only $50,000. So that's nice. That's a really, that's kind of grant I like to see. It shows that, you know, we're invested in it, but also we're not coughing up a ton of money. And that's a great park. That is probably my favorite because I always see kids playing there.
Oh, it's
wanted to, I do have some more comments about that, but is there anybody else who would like to ask Amy any questions or anything?
Which park is that?
Albert Foster, it's on Broadway and Fourth? Broadway and Fourth.
Okay.
Yeah. So a citizen looked at the agenda and, noticed this and thought it was really fantastic too, but also mentioned that we might need some lighting over there. That it's kind of dark, and I haven't necessarily noticed it, so I'm curious if that's something that's on the agenda, if it's something that the city has any understanding about.
So our parks operate dawn to dusk.
Okay,
So inside the park, we don't really want to encourage people to be there
Okay.
after dark, hence the reason there
That
are no
makes sense.
lights there. But
Okay.
there are lights at the intersection of
Okay.
Fourth and Broadway, so as far as
Okay.
safety getting home, yes, but
okay, that makes sense.
in the park, it is a dawn to dusk, which is our park, that's our normal park hours.
Sure, okay, all right, sounds good, thank you. Any other
Do we
questions?
have that posted at the parks?
Yeah.
So in light of that grant coming forward, the George Washington Carver Center has invited some community members to the Carver Center on the 20th of this month to bring their ideas. And, I know you mentioned most of the things I think people would talk about, but still, just to hear it from those parents whose kids you see are over there playing, or the kids themselves. So we'll be doing that 5 to 9, and hopefully we'll have a grant writer there also representing that.
You said the 20th?
The 20th, yeah.
From 5 to 9?
From 5 to 9 at the George Washington Carver Center.
And then is the city prepared to work with what comes out of this conversation? Wonderful. Wonderful, thank you. Fantastic. Any more discussion, or do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thanks, Amy, that's a nice one. All right, next up is also Amy's department, winter salt purchase. We need to allocate a little more money.
So we commit to a certain amount of salt every year. We try to build in a contingency. They put on the truck what they put on the truck, and it arrives to us. And
Okay.
so in this case, we ended up with an extra 12 tons, which
Okay.
sounds like a lot, but in the bigger scheme of things, it's absolutely not. So
Okay. You just answered my question too. Did they just bring us more, or? Okay.
yeah, they're not strict with like, oh, there's only 50 tons in this double truck. It's 50 plus whatever ends up in there, and that's how we end up. So.
Just what happens.
Yep.
Sounds good to me. And I just want to give you some props. During my tour with Commissioner Stanville, we got to see the salt building, I guess. It's just a giant pole barn. And Amy told us how she has to determine how much salt we're going to need every year. And I can't even fathom trying to do that. And it seems like you're doing a fantastic job. So thank you very much at figuring out the nearly impossible.
She's a very exacting person as an engineer, so guessing is not her forte.
Whatever system you're using, it looks like it's working great. So thank you so much. Do we have any questions or discussion? No? Okay, sounds good. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Support. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, motion carries. Thanks, Amy. I think you're next as well.
I like filing.
We're just gonna keep you up here.
Amy should need to be here.
All right, sounds good. Hold on, I'm opening this one. This is a water meter and meter head replacement issue. Can you give us the goods?
Yep, so when we approve, or when commission approved fiscal year 26 budget, we set aside $500,000 to purchase meters and meter heads. The initial purchase order, we did $300,000. We didn't know what kind of pace we were gonna get, how our businesses and residents would respond when we were trying to schedule and do replacements, and it's went really well. And so
Good.
our latest order has maxed out that $300,000, and now we're asking for the other $200,000 that was budgeted, just not put on the purchase order. So,
So it's already allocated, ready to go. You just want permission to officially use it.
Is that for the entire program to be done, or are we gonna have more?
no, there will be more. We're trying to space it out a little bit over the next few years. This was just the first big hit of, like I said, commercial industrial, so that we can get those fully updated. And then we introduced cellular meter heads. And so if any residents So a lot of people don't realize that their toilet's leaking. It's kind of that hidden mystery, and we only read once every 2 months. So there's a chance of an undetected leak. Well, this would let you watch it, it'll alert you. So it keeps you more involved in your water service.
Nice. How would someone request that?
So they can call either public services or water billing
Okay.
and indicate that they want to set up an appointment to change out their meter and or meter head. And then Eyes on Water is an app that you guys learn about as that install is taking place.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much.
And would this give a more accurate reading?
It doesn't give a more accurate reading, but it gives them readings more often. So it reads multiple times throughout the day. Yep.
Use that when my son takes a shower, right?
Right. I was thinking when I do like 12 loads of laundry in a day. See exactly how much that costs. Excellent. Any other questions or comments? All right, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Amy. Citywide mowing.
We can jump to that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I miss one? I'm sorry, guys, hang on a second. Oh, airport fuels, I had already clicked the link, my mistake, so sorry. Airport fuel system replacement, my apologies. Is that also Amy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have our airport manager here.
Yeah,
so
That's right, you
Dan's
do.
back there,
Yep.
he's the.
We need like, you've got the hot seat, we need like a warm seat
Yeah.
next door.
Sure.
So, so can you brief us here?
Sure. So the last fuel tank was installed underground in 1993. Has a 30-year warranty. Has been testing well. We have not had any issues, thankfully. But the Jet A fuel, so there's 2 different types of fuel in the tank,
Okay.
and the Jet A fuel pump and piping out to the nozzle, for lack of better terms, was not in the condition that the inspector wanted it to be in.
Okay.
So it's red tagged, it's out of service, can't use it.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't mean that we have concerns of the fuel tank itself. It
Okay.
just means that pumping it from the tank out to the plane, there's a concern between it because it's pressurized.
Sure.
So when they saw that, they said, no more Jet A.
Okay.
And so with the tank being 33 years old, the system being old, and knowing that we need to keep up on that,
Mhm.
and knowing that we're required to have fuel at the airport, we ventured into an airport fuel tank replacement project.
Okay.
Originally budgeted $525,000. Yes, we definitely came in higher than what we budgeted.
Okay. How did we determine that budget in the first place?
So Dan did a whole lot of research for us, which
Okay.
he's fantastic at, and a whole lot of reading, and put together some prices,
Okay.
and then actually we inflated it, and they're inflated even more.
Yeah, that's like, it's something like 42, 43%. Yikes. Things happen. Yeah. I mean, nothing's as cheap as it was a year ago, so. Okay. Let's see. Where will the funds come from? Joe, that might be a better question for you.
It's general fund.
Okay.
Airport is funded by general fund.
Okay, so it'll come out of the 8.5 million, the unallocated funds? Okay. All right.
Most of the grants and things we do for the airport, they've had just a wonderful, they pay 90% and we pay 10% and we've had very low numbers. This is not something they cover,
Okay.
but if you aggregate everything together, we're still way ahead with funds that we get from the government. We have
Wonderful.
people ahead of us, so.
Again, just what I want to hear.
But this one we have to bite the bullet.
We've actually had 95% coverage. We had a couple programs that were 100% covered. So, yes, it's unfortunate this one's not, but he's right. We've had lots of money that we didn't have to pay.
Nice. Keep bringing us money we don't have to pay. I understand sometimes we do. Okay, and this will like replace the whole shebang, right? This is done deal.
Yep.
How long will it take?
So, do you remember the timeline? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it'll be roughly 4 to 6 weeks, and it really depends
Oh,
on the
okay.
factors, so.
It's a lot faster than
Yeah, me too.
And
And,
Well, and it's gonna be broken into two parts.
Sure.
There's the installation,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and we're gonna leave the other one running while that one's installed.
Okay.
And once it's up running, then we'll remove the old system.
Gotcha.
So,
Oh, okay.
so then there'll be additional time for that.
But still, I mean, I thought you might say a year, so 4 to 6 weeks sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay. And do they currently not have fuel at the airport?
They have the 100 low lead, which is what most of the planes use.
It's your smaller Cessnas, your Cherokees, Pipers, they use that. It's Jet A's a different class of fuel for bigger aircraft.
Alright.
But we do have business there that does annual maintenance on those bigger planes.
Correct.
So
Okay.
that's majority of our use. There are a couple other uses for that Jet A.
Alright, sounds good. Any other questions or comments? Alright, do we have a motion to approve?
So,
Alright, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alright, thank you, Amy, and okay, now we can go ahead to our citywide mowing. Want to give us the gist?
Sure. So every 3 years, we bid for citywide mowing, contracted services throughout the city. Adds up to about 90 acres of city property
Okay.
that we have a contractor mow. And then city staff is also responsible for some smaller parcels. Usually those are the parcels that, like had houses on them, things that could potentially change ownership, we keep and we take care of.
Okay,
These are consistent ownership, so the contract's not changing all the time.
okay, okay. That's a whole lot of money. I'm curious if we have the equipment, why are we not trying to do this in-house?
So we don't have the equipment to do this.
Okay,
So our equipment is tied up throughout the summer doing the other parcels that we mow.
okay,
So if we were to try to, and this was a ballpark estimate, because I don't see all the hours that a contractor estimates.
right,
So we would need to add trucks, trailers, mowers, weed whips, and then the staff.
mhm,
And you're typically seasonal, part-time,
right,
and then, but somebody still needs to manage them.
that's true.
So that's a big pot of funding at that point in time.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, if you don't find the part-time seasonal staff, then it falls back on other staff who have other skill sets, and then that work isn't getting done. So we found that this is a skill set that we can contract out, while the rest of the department focuses on other skills that they have and other training that they have.
Okay, that makes sense. It's just so much money. I see that there are alternatives available for the library?
Yeah, so the bid amount was almost double what they normally budget, and so they're seeking some other alternatives to help with their budget.
Okay,
And if they don't find an alternative that's better for them, then the contractor understands that we may add that as a change order. He's
Okay.
okay with that. But we wanted to give them time to figure that out. But we also wanted to get this awarded to a contractor as soon as we could,
Mhm.
so that they could start making all of their appropriate plans and schedules and things like that.
sure, with the weather at this rate, we'll be going pretty soon. Okay, and just one quick easy question too, where is Rohrer Park?
Go ahead. So Zosha is our park manager.
Hi, Zosha.
She's here with us as well.
Roar Park is the little triangle when you're on your way to Sidmore. It's like right there, when you, right down Constantine, it's a little triangle, that's Roar Park. There's like 2 trees in it.
Constantine and Millard.
Constantine and Miller.
You probably drive by it every day.
Okay.
Oh, John's
Oh,
my
thank you,
lady.
John. John, you're good at this, thank you. Okay. A resident reached out and asked me, and I tried to Google it, and it was like, the link came up just blank, and I couldn't find it. I think it said it was on South Main, so I couldn't figure out where it
That
was.
is South Main Park.
Okay, all right.
That makes sense.
We are here.
We are here.
Road Park is there.
Okay. All right, well, thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question also. We mow out by the water tower, the ballparks there.
Yeah.
Do we own that property?
Yeah.
So does the Little League contract to use that? I mean, why are we mowing it instead of them? That's my question. Like at Armstrong Park,
A lot of the
We
ballpark
moved
itself
it.
is mowed by the Little League. Jordan Eggleston is the one that does a lot of that for the actual
well, it
park
said
itself.
that was one of the bids, or
Yeah, around the water towers.
just the water tower, they don't mow the,
Infield or, I don't remember.
I'm just questioning because like at Armstrong Park takes care of that, Little League, football, soccer. I mean, that's part of their,
That's in their different agreement we have.
right. So Little League doesn't have an agreement then? Or
Little
I
League
guess,
has-
I'm just questioning.
Little League has an agreement to use that park as ball fields.
And they pay for that, but they don't
I don't
maintain,
think they should pay.
they don't pay either.
I'm not familiar with that.
I'm just
It's just
questioning.
a community
Yeah, well, that's the answer.
availability.
Okay, that's, yep, that's fine. I just wondered.
All right. Okay, anything else? All right, do we have a motion to approve?
So approved.
All right, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We have awarded the contract to, was it Seven Blades?
Yard Tech?
Oh, I'm sorry, Airtech, my mistake, sorry. Oh, it was written on top, my bad. Pardon me. All right. All right, ooh, moving on to a fun one. We're looking to, this is a fun one, right? We're looking to include, the new Fair and Hall Diner at, 45 North Main in the downtown, social district. And, I think that's really cool. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I think it's great. I don't think there's anything better than having a lovely cocktail outside in the summer. Oh, Angie, are you gonna come up and talk with us too? Fantastic. Welcome aboard. I didn't see anybody come, so I thought it was on me.
No,
No, you go ahead.
you can, that's fine.
All right.
Basically, it was the tent before, so it's now because Fair and Hall is there and they have the new liquor license, they want to be part of the social district. So we're hoping that the city council will approve them to be part of it.
It's required for the application process.
Yes.
Yeah, and they already have like a great liquor license and stuff. They planned ahead for this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
There was one there and I think they switched it.
Yeah, it's historic, so it goes with the building.
Oh,
You still have to
good to know.
apply for it.
Okay.
Each owner still needs to
Yeah.
apply.
And just because I remember this number being wacky, do you happen to know how many liquor licenses there are available in the DDA district?
I do not.
I want to say it's some astronomical number like 90 or something crazy high.
So I know there's a little more leeway.
No, literally, it's something so crazy for like one block. It's 60 or 90 or something.
I don't know.
I don't know the number. I
Okay.
have to find that out.
I would love to hear that number again, because it was when I was on the DDA that I
Yeah.
heard it, and I remember everybody's jaw dropped when we heard the number, and I'm just curious.
I thought there was like 8 or less.
Yeah, right? Well, like, they're not necessarily in use,
Oh.
but that are like set aside somehow from the state for that district.
Yeah.
So I bring that up to say, if anybody wants to bring another restaurant in here, there's a real good chance you can get a liquor license if you qualify for it. So,
And you guys approved it.
yeah, of course, of course. All right. Yeah. Any questions or anything else?
Oh, I love paper.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Fair and Hall joins the social district. Wonderful. I've got to stop in there. One of their breakfast sandwiches looks so good. Yes. Oh, you've already been?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I mean, come on. Come on.
Hey, come on, come on. I just haven't had time. And so, all right, moving along to the consent agenda. This was dropped in a little bit late, so I barely had a chance to look at it, but looks good so far. Does anybody have any questions or anything before I launch into mine? Sounds like no? Okay, you do? Oh, I'm sorry.
I had another thing about the transfer on Middle Street.
That's been removed from the agenda. So we'll most likely revisit that at either the next meeting or the meeting after, most likely. Most likely. So anybody who has agendas in your hands that have been printed out, there have been some adjustments, but they've been corrected in that's why it appears that there was that there. You'll understand in a minute why. So, let's see, okay, so the consent agenda. Joe, you have a vacation request in there, and everybody deserves a vacation, you included. My only concern is that you would miss our public hearing for the budget. So we need to either determine if maybe your vacation could be adjusted, or if we should adjust that public hearing.
Yeah, we can make it the second meeting if we need to.
Okay, the second meeting of June, that's really far. I would be much happier if we could back it up. Because I think June 2nd is already pretty late as it is, seeing as we have to have it approved by the 30th.
I don't know about the schedule, I'll have to look at that.
Okay, can we put this on ice then until we do?
You could do a special.
Or we could do a special
You
meeting
can
too.
always do that as, not to interrupt, but that would
Sure.
also be a way to do it, to make sure that the commission had time to have that public hearing.
Okay, I actually don't have a calendar with me either, surprisingly. But should we then just determine that we'll go on and change that public hearing to another date prior to your vacation?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Leslie, does that sound good to everybody? Okay, we have consensus? Okay. Leslie, can you help us remember that, please? Mark it in the minutes so we don't forget. Yeah, just changing the public hearing schedule. So, and then we don't need, do we need to, we probably would need to approve a new date, wouldn't we? That's right, it's only March. I mean, we can pop that on the next agenda and be just fine. Okay, sounds good. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Support.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, consent agenda carries. Okay, so I want to give a little explanation as to why the appointments have been removed from our agenda. Actually, because I want to be very polite and very honest with everybody, I went ahead and prepared a little statement. So I want to say that I am deeply grateful to everyone who volunteers their time and their expertise to serve our city. During a recent review of our appointment process, I discovered inconsistencies between state law, our charter, information published on the city's website, and certain bylaws. As a result, some past appointments under both current and prior leadership may not fully align with our governing requirements. So TJ and I spent some time on the phone today, our city attorney, and I'm recommending that we temporarily pause new appointments while the staff conducts a comprehensive review. City Manager Vippus and I discussed this as well. This will allow us to clarify the applicable standards and ensure that all future appointments are fully compliant and transparent. Our volunteers deserve clear guidance, and our community deserves governance that is consistent and lawful, and taking this step now will help strengthen both. And that's also why we removed the Middle Street transfer from our agenda. We will put that back on the agenda as soon as we have everything settled with our boards. So that's what's up with that, everybody, to be completely transparent. So, all right, moving right along. We are almost done, everybody. It is time for City Commission and City Manager's communications. Who would like to begin? Yes, Commissioner Allen.
I'd just like to make a comment about the general comment that the young lady made. And her question, I'm sure a lot of people experience things like that where there's something going on and it's an individual situation. So you did tell her she would get with you, and I'm sure she's been researching and trying to do things, but I just think that it should be told to the public what you do in a case like that. So once you talk to her and you find out, you said you would direct her or have the people that need to go to her, just so that everybody knows. Because while she was talking, I was thinking, well, you know, I brainstormed the situation and I've got some ideas, but what happens when we start including, because what came to my mind was inspector, right? So when you start a thing, finish it, because people end up in a wheel, just going around, oh, that person went, nothing's done. Next, that agency went, nothing's done. But, you know, start, since she came to the city for help, that we see her through it.
I agree completely. And I think the point here is to protect the privacy of the individual. So I'll tell you, everybody, what I'm planning to do is go ahead and talk with this resident, find out who the person is. I will keep that name confidential. I will then take any information that she's willing to give me. I will forward that to our city manager. I will probably also CC our social worker, Bree, because she's probably a wonderful person to involve in this as well. There are a lot of resources out there for folks that a lot of folks don't even know about. And there's also a meeting on March 10th, Bree, correct me if I'm wrong, March 10th, which is a Tuesday, at the library at 6 o'clock. Yep, she's nodding yes. Tuesday, March 10th at 6 o'clock. That I would really love to see well attended. Bree will be there, and there will be some other representatives from agencies. And it'll be a really great opportunity for us to see what type of services are available. And I encourage you to come to that, or we'll probably, I mean, I know I need to take notes and stuff, so we'll probably have some follow-up that we can provide, you know, via social media or something maybe. At least just agencies that were there, things like that, maybe a quick minutes kind of version. And I'll be happy to provide that with you if you're not able to attend.
Yeah, it's our annual board meeting, and I'm on the board.
Oh, goodness,
Where I live,
so you won't be able to be there for that meeting. Okay, well, I'll make sure to get that information to you afterwards. However, I imagine that we'll be able to at least start this process moving. And then, thank you, Carolyn, for bringing this up, because what we can do afterwards is, maybe not by the next meeting, because I don't necessarily know what might get done, but I think it would be a really good exercise for us to bring to the public some kind of minutes, so to speak, where we say, you know, these agencies have been involved, these are the things that have been corrected. I still support keeping the person's name private. There's no reason to necessarily air someone's dirty laundry.
You know, it's just the process itself.
Sure.
That's important for people to know, you know, how do I help my neighbor or the lady down the street, just the process.
Maybe we could use this as an opportunity to codify that in some way, where when there is a situation like this, you know, we have a policy available so somebody knows exactly who to call, exactly how to get those wheels turning. And maybe we can, you know, stop things before they get really desperate.
I think we're there.
Maybe
I think, yeah, I think
okay.
all those things are in place. It's just a matter of a follow through.
Okay.
You know, you send this person, they do what they can,
Right.
but probably won't get that. You send that
Sure.
person, you know.
Well, and it seems like, just judging from what the lady said, it's gonna be multiple people involved. You know, it doesn't sound like this is a one agency or one person issue, right? That was my guess, but you're far more plugged in than I am.
You never know. You never know. So I appreciate you giving your number to talk to her and see what you can give over.
All right, and yes, I would be happy to report back how this goes. That would be a very good exercise for me as a new mayor and for the public to see that the city follows through and that, you know, we are there to do what we can do and to direct people to the right resources. So, please give me a call. Actually, I'm very easy to reach by text during the day. I work 8 to 4 at a normal job, but let's get some time on the book to have a conversation, and you know, I will forward that to our city manager and to the appropriate people. No, thank you. I appreciate it. You're the top dog here when it comes to helping folks. So I'm always going to be interested in what you have to say. Thank you. Anybody?
Please.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Stanfield.
Chief, were you on duty last night? Yeah. Yeah, well, I figured. I just wanted to say job well done at the fire over on 8th. Man, you guys responded so quick to that. I don't live too far from there, so, you know, I was not gonna lie, I was nosy and I went down there. You guys do such a good job, man. You guys are so underappreciated in this area. And I cannot stress that enough. I know I say that every couple of weeks, and I'm gonna say it till I'm blue in the face. You guys did a phenomenal job there last night. So, job well done to you guys. Please keep doing what you're doing. Just know that you are appreciated.
Anyone else? All right, TJ.
All
Looks
right.
like you're ready.
Oh, my turn. I'll let Joe go first, sure.
No, I'm good.
No, so I would say, yes, I did talk to the mayor about the appointments, and nothing about taking it off, I think, speaks to the qualifications of those people that were up tonight. I think the question was,
Correct.
there were questions that were legitimate that, given the time to raise them, I probably prudent just to hold off on appointing anybody else so we know exactly where the boards are going. So there's some looking in those. And there is a difference on the boards when you look between a charter provision on advisory boards and statutorily driven boards, such as Planning Commission, ZBA, and then the Housing Development, which is actually a nonprofit ran by the city, which is a different type of board. However, that may be clear in the future for people to look, but I think questions were raised, probably prudent to make sure we answer those questions before we put more people on it. But again, I just want to be clear that I don't think it's not a reflection of anybody that was up tonight to not be qualified or otherwise being a good fit for the board. It's, I think, that the desire was to hold off on any appointments until those questions were asked. So yeah, just to confirm what the mayor said, that we did have that conversation for quite a while this afternoon. Or actually this morning, and then followed back up this afternoon. So.
And TJ, thank you for bringing that up too, because I didn't realize that the names were gonna come off the agenda, so when I planned what I was going to say, I expected, just in my mind, to be able to say to the people who were up for appointment tonight. I actually had a chance to speak with the one gentleman tonight. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be approved. This is just a policy issue that we have to get to the bottom of and just make sure we're doing things correctly. So yes, this is not a reflection in any way, shape, or form on the names that you might be seeing on your paper agenda. So we're just gonna get our ducks in a row, and we will very likely be placing those same names back on our agenda in the very near future, we hope. So thank you for that. I appreciate you catching that. Thank you so much. Joe, anything from you?
No.
All right. Okay, I guess it's my turn. I see on the city website that we are supposed to have a training liaison as part of our redevelopment ready community agreement. Is that Leslie by chance?
That'd be a John question.
That would be a John question.
So each board has their own training and reporting. Usually it's the liaison for the board. So
Okay. So who's ours?
I'm not sure who it is for the city commission. It's either Leslie or Joe.
Okay. Leslie, like, you made the plans last time for my training in Lansing from what I remember, so that's why I assumed it was you.
I think you lead part of that, but I don't,
Yeah,
did Melissa do it in the past?
yeah, kind of split it.
Okay. Well, regardless, I would like to formally request registration for the elected officials in Bay City in May. We have plenty of budget for it. It's the training strategy event, and it looks really, really, really interesting. And we're supposed to be getting, actually from what I read on the website, training opportunities are supposed to be a standard part of our agenda, and we should be offered trainings at least every quarter, and that they should be being brought to us from places like the Michigan Municipal League, which this is the training from there. And I would love to attend. It looks fantastic. And I would just like to attend. So thank you. It's very cost effective. It's, let's see, like $300 for the ticket itself. The rooms at that hotel are $129. It's about 400 miles round trip. There's a little bit of mileage there, but I would love to go because it looks fantastic. The description is that participants will delve into the intricacies of council member, mayor, president, and city manager roles and master the nuances that define effective community leadership. Participants will also examine the Uniform Budgeting and Accounting Act, decipher the complexities of tax and revenue sharing, and acquire the skills to make informed zoning decisions. It sounds like fun, because I'm that kind of nerd, so. Thank you, everybody, I appreciate it. And I'd love to see upcoming trainings posted to our agenda so that we can stay on top of them. Also, I had asked at the last meeting where all this money was going for dues and such, and Bobby got back to me like the very next morning. It's all for the MML, the Michigan Municipal League, so we should definitely be using them to their fullest. So thanks everybody for that. Next up in the city flyer that we got, the newsletter, I saw something about a texting program where we can text questions to the city. Can somebody tell me a little more about that?
So we just introduced it. Basically, if you have water billing questions, there's a water billing line so that if a lot of people have some preferred method of communication, they can just text in, and then they have, it's on our computer, so it's not
been a good application for the lovely lady, to, right here, to have reached out to us that way, maybe?
Possibly, it's definitely an option,
Okay.
but I think.
It's probably used more for things that we do, or
Yeah.
tasks that we do.
Okay.
Yeah, like windscreen cleanup, stuff like that,
Yeah.
like when we
Okay.
pick up, just a quick,
Just a quick general
they
questions.
don't wanna call, but yeah, that one
Okay.
might be a little more in depth.
Okay, sounds good. I'd love to see like a nice social media post that sort of explains the difference between how to go. That's just something I would love to see. I'd love to be able to share it, so, and I don't wanna create it and do it wrong, so,
We might have done.
It's up there.
Well, this is from the newsletter, but I think there was one on
There
the
was
city.
one on Facebook.
oh, okay, already?
the city
Thank
hall's
you.
Facebook page.
Alright, I think I must have missed it. Okay, well, thank you very much. I'll find it and share it too. Wonderful, thank you guys. All right, water. We recently contracted with a company to determine which water lines are lead, and I feel like I asked this before, or it was on my list and I didn't. Do we know when they're scheduled to begin and when they're scheduled to complete that mission? Might be an Amy question.
Mid-April start,
Okay.
mid-June finish.
Oh, it's gonna be fast. Okay, I'm gonna take a note right now so I don't ask you this at another meeting. Thank you. Okay, wonderful. All right, okay. So, a couple of meetings ago, several meetings ago, we discussed that a resident had reached out to me about adding the availability of having a fourth dog for a foster. And the board sort of discussed it, and we had Joe come up with a memo and sort of determine whether or not we should move forward with this. That particular resident decided she didn't want to do it anyway, so this is something that kind of just got put on ice by virtue of the person not wanting to move forward. But we did get a memo from Joe. We received that at our last meeting, and I had some time to look it over, and I just don't want to put it to bed until we have a chance to discuss this a little bit. It says here that you spoke with the county and that they say that their foster program is intended for individuals planning to adopt long-term, typically allowing a short trial period to achieve viability. That might be the county's plan, but that is not generally like what fostering a dog is about. In fact, if there's anybody in the audience who can say it with me, when somebody adopts their foster, it's called a foster fail, exactly, because you failed fostering. You didn't get the dog adopted to somebody else. A foster fail, yes. And I mean, when fostering like with children, the idea is always that they go back to their family. You're just temporarily taking care of them. I fostered 2 dogs, once when a neighbor passed away, and once through a rescue when the dog just wasn't getting along with some of the other dogs. But I wanted to clear up that that's not always what a foster is. A foster should be a temporary situation until a dog can be adopted out, most likely to somebody else. Also, part of the memo stated that, let me find it, that the county thought we had enough dogs, basically. And they don't actually prescribe a limit for the county itself. Like, if you live outside of a city or a municipality, if you're just governed by the county, like, there's no limit. You can have as many dogs as you want.
Yeah, because they have a lot of different types of property than we do.
They do, that's true. But if they don't impose limits, I don't necessarily think that they should really prescribe hours. That's my thoughts on that. Also, they talked about, or you talked about in the memo, that the county expressed concern that increasing the number of dogs in the city could reduce kennel availability for strays and potentially increase euthanasia rates. And that's basically the opposite of what fostering does. Fostering clears kennels out. It gives a dog a home temporarily until a long-term home can be found. So I just don't want to, we don't have to do anything. I'm not suggesting that we do anything other than put on the record that this issue is not complete. That should it ever rise up, I don't want it to be said, well, the commission already looked at this and decided not to do it. We didn't make any decisions. Nothing is binding. So those were my concerns regarding this memo. So thank you guys for hearing me on that. As for the memo we received concerning changing our ordinances, this is the same night we got this memo. Essentially, what I see here is background says, over time, the city ordinances have been amended incrementally. As a result, certain sections may be outdated, inconsistent, or misaligned with current state law and best practices. And the recommendation is that we essentially do a phased approach, rewrite the massage ordinance, and adopt the International Property Maintenance Code. But it seems as though we're using the justification to not move forward at anything else based on the fact that we've done it piecemeal in the past and that didn't work, so let's continue to do it piecemeal to save resources. I met with a planning commissioner from a different municipality, and while he was on the planning commission, at one point he was not the chair, and then the chair retired and he became the chair. And they had been working on, I believe, zoning ordinances for like a year, and they hadn't completed anything. It was really laborious, and he basically brought in his own screen to a meeting, put it up in a Google Doc, and in 2 meetings they had the whole thing complete. Something that had taken a year, he just walked through it with his fellow commissioners and said, okay, what about this one? What's everybody's thoughts on this? Okay, let me type that up. How do we feel about it? Oh, you want another change? Let's change it. Okay, do we all agree? Excellent, moving along. Next one. And he got it done really fast and everybody was really happy with it. So taking a phased approach is great if historically that's worked right for us, but as this memo states, we've come out with things misaligned with state law. So I would like for us to consider just taking care of this whole package. And then it gives TJ one thing to review, it gives the state one thing to review, and I think that it would actually help minimize the impact to our staff. This is something we could do in a couple special meetings from what I'm told. So that's just how I feel about things. Again, we haven't made any decisions, nothing here is binding, but I would like this to come back for discussion so that everybody here has a chance to digest, obviously, this memo. They probably already have, add their thoughts to it if they haven't thought about speaking about it tonight. If you have anything to say tonight, I'd absolutely love to hear it. But I would like to move forward with a bigger discussion about this. Carolyn, it looks like you might have something.
Plenty, but not now.
Okay, no, that's just fine, absolutely. I like time to digest things, so
Yeah.
I totally appreciate that you do too.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you, everybody.
And there is one thing you said that I find questionable. When
Yeah.
you sit down and make that kind of change with the, oh, yeah, do everybody agree? That's just dangerous. That's moving just way too fast. There's no input. You know, we have a lot of hearings, you know, let people
Sure.
come in and get their input and different things. So
Okay,
it just seems a little quick. I just
that makes sense.
a little fast.
I appreciate that comment.
That's not how you create laws and things.
Again, I like to digest things too. So I think the system I would be looking for would be to go ahead and do it somewhat the way they had done it with that other commission, get everything set, give us time to digest it, not vote on anything yet, just have a document, let us sleep on it, and then if we need to have a public hearing, absolutely, but to give the public that information that they can digest for a while too, before they come back, and then take our time to approve it. So I very much agree with you that we do need to have time to digest it. But to just get things written out, that was an idea. So, but please don't feel that you
No,
have to
that's
limit
fine.
your comments just tonight too. Please sleep on this as well, and if you have more to say at another time, let's go ahead. Any comments? Okay. All right, the last thing on my list. Joe, a couple meetings ago, I asked for the criteria for your review. I have yet to receive that. I'm hoping that you can forward that to me. It's been about a month. Also, I wasn't able to find anything in the minutes about the commission changing your review from January to June. I would appreciate you helping me find that, and I believe we need to update your contract so that everything's in order. Especially considering, you know, we're looking at all of our boards. I think one of the things that I'm here to do and that the public elected me to do is to get things in order. That was something I heard a lot in my campaign, so let's just try to get everything as updated as we possibly can. Okay? Okay. No problem. Just if that could come, that would be great. All right.
We'll just send you a copy of the blank review.
Yes, absolutely, yeah, thank you so much. Okay. And then, that's the last thing I have for the public. I do want to send you some things regarding our budget. I will just say this one thing, I am constantly asked about the $8.5 million. Grocery store, 3-4 times a week, everywhere I go, people are asking me, are you ready to earmark that money? And another quick question too is, are we required to keep our $0 line items on the budget, and if so, for how long? I understand you might not know that off the top of your head, I totally understand, but I would like to find that out. So, all right, everybody, that's all I have. Are there any follow-ups?
Nope.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?